My name is Kenneth Fung, and I'm a psychiatrist, and I'm the clinical director of Asian Initiative in Mental Health program at the Toronto Western Hospital as part of University Health Network. I'm also an associate professor with the Department of Psychiatry, University of Toronto. My passion is about psychiatry, and more specifically about cultural psychiatry, how culture interfaces with mental health, how culture interfaces mental health in every aspect, from how we conceive of what good mental health is, how we feel when we're ill, how we express that distress, to how we go about getting help and how we perceive the help, as well as different ways of delivering interventions in a culturally competent way. So these are all the issues I'm passionate in. I think that to study mental health is a very interesting field, and then to add the cultural lens, it really adds a whole new dimension. In addition, I think that this is where the forefront of psychiatry can be, in that a lot of the development has been from a Western context, and by tapping on the strengths of the other cultures, I think this is where mental health itself can advance as a field. So I'm really passionate about cultural psychiatry. The other field I'm very interested in is psychotherapy, and that is how do we, through psychological intervention, improves people's mental health and well-being. I think that this is something that can benefit a lot of people, and I think we can continue to look at different ways of delivering psychological interventions and psychotherapy. And marrying these two fields of interest, I think that there's a lot of excitement in the field about what we can learn from different cultures. If we look at the current trend right now of incorporating mindfulness practice into psychotherapy, for example, I think it's a good example of what we can really learn from non-Western cultures, how to even do a better job in psychotherapy, and how do we use the wisdoms of different cultures to promote people's mental health and well-being. I think that to improve access, service, cultural competence delivery, what we need to also overcome is the obstacle of stigma. That is the misunderstanding of what mental illness is. I think education, awareness, and really to decrease the stigma, the negative associations that we all have about mental illness, it's a necessary step for us to move forward, for the community to move forward. I think that patients, clients, as well as their families, including even service providers, sometimes face stigma, and it contributes to multiple levels of discrimination and systemic discrimination about people who live with mental illness or live with various kinds of mental health challenges. And resources allocated to mental health is also insufficient sometimes because of this unequal lens of how we pay so much more attention to physical health. It's so much more okay to talk about physical health than to talk about mental health. And I think in this regard, I think all of us, you who are watching this video, will have an important part to play, that mental health can become a conversation that we can spread out in the community. And it is for this reason that the University of Toronto, along with all our partners here, listed here, including Healthy Minds Canada, Ryerson University, and a lot of community organizations, we are putting on an annual event called the MindFest. So this year is October 4th, 2017, that we wanted to be a day, as we hear the name Fest, it's really a celebration of different minds. It's really a celebration of mental health and well-being, and to raise awareness about the importance of mental health to each and every one of us, and to start to combat the stigma that's out there. So it becomes a forum where you're going to hear from people with lived experience, you can hear family members, community organizations, and healthcare professionals come together to talk about and discuss the latest in mental health and mental illness and resources available. So we welcome all of you to spread the word about MindFest as well. So I think in conclusion, I think mental health is part and parcel of everyone's experience. Every one of us want to be physically healthy, and of course, a healthy mind is part of this. There's no health unless there's mental health. And we need not to be afraid to talk about mental health, as every one of us needs it, and everyone shares this, and it's really our collective community responsibility to really raise mental health and awareness. Thank you.